Hello, hello. It's Monday.
Happy Monday!
It's Monday. That's the first day of the traditional work week.
We are here. We haven't done a lot of Monday lessons.
No, we haven't. So thanks for joining for a special time and a special day.
A special place for everyone.
Yeah. So we are doing a lesson on riffs and runs.
Fills and riffs.
Right,
you can
fills
call
and
them
riffs.
runs, though.
Fills, riffs, runs, musical, dancing, whatever.
It's interesting because Jordan and I had a very different, when I say fills and riffs, Jordan thinks of.
Oh, I think it's stuff like this.
Filling the space, like riffs within improv settings.
Right.
And I think of fills and riffs within playing like a song.
Right, so something just kind of I don't know.
Like fill in the spaces as you chord your way through it.
Well, this is sort of we're going to teach some long fills, and we also might teach a little bit of short fills, kind of like what Lisa's talking about over there.
Yes. So if you have something to be thinking about as we go through the lesson, if there is something that maybe you've been working on, a specific song or moment when you've been playing between chords, we're like, I don't know what to do.
Totally.
Think about it and put it into the questions so that we can kind of go through those with you and help you feel like you really got it.
Yeah. So here's what I sort of think a riff or a fill or a run. The function of it in music is it's kind of this transitional thing to get us from point A to point B, and that could be something as simple as going from your 1 chord to your 4 chord.
Oh, we're doing fun sounds today?
Yeah, I got this road sound.
Is it called early 70s?
Early 70s road.
Welcome to the 70s.
Yeah, well, why not, right? We're here, we got this sweet instrument. So, like, a simple, riff to get into from chord to chord, or a simple riff to get from like A section to B section, these are all sort of ways that we're going to look at it. So,
okay. Let's dive in.
Yeah, okay, so the first thing that I want to teach is this right here.
That's a crazy wild.
It sounds pretty nuts, eh?
That's
and it
wild
looks
one.
kind of crazy, but this is an example of how it's not as complicated as you think it is. It's not as elaborate as you might initially believe.
It's pretty elaborate looking.
Right, but let's break it down to what it truly is, because everything that seems super impressive on the piano can generally be broken down into the chord shapes that they are derived from. So this, that sounds pretty dazzling or whatever, or maybe you're like, it doesn't sound that dazzling.
I'm dazzled.
Good. Okay, so this riff here is actually derived from just 2 chords. It's derived from an A major chord and a D major chord. And then
A, B, so the 1 and the 4.
The 1 and the 4 chord. And I'm using it as something that gets me down the piano. So maybe here's maybe it would be like an example of how I want to get from my 1 chord to my 4 chord in the key of A. So I'm playing around an A, then I'm going to my D chord.
And it's all lovely, it's nice.
Yeah.
And now suddenly you find yourself bored.
Exactly.
So what on earth will you do?
Yeah, I'll go. Something like that. So let's look at what the fingering of this shape is and just sort of how simple the philosophy really can be.
Okay.
So I call this the 3-5-1 riff, and that's because the 3-5-1 is pertaining to the fingers. Yeah, exactly. So
3-5-1.
3-5-1. So if you've practiced your broken triads, this is going to feel really familiar. So you can just kind of warm yourself up by doing that. So all we're doing is 3-5. Well, right now we're doing 3-5-3-1. But try this.
So how you?
So 3-5-1, 3-5-1. There you
go. It's a weird feeling.
Okay, so the next element, you can take that same shape and bring that down to your D major chord.
I see how this all fits together.
Try this, Lisa.
You're in my way.
Yeah, so start up there, and now D. Okay, you got there.
I see how it all fits.
Starting to see how it's working?
Guys, you're going to want to do this because it feels so nice under the hand.
Yeah, so...
It feels like it was meant to be.
It kind of, this is the kind of thing that you just sort of stumble upon if you just, you know, think about different different ways to kind of get from point A to point B on your piano. Different ways to, you know, sometimes I think to myself, I like think of my hand as like a little monkey or something, and it's like swinging from tree branch. It's got to go. It's in one tree, and then it's got to get to the next tree, and just swinging down the jungle. Does that make sense, right?
Totally makes sense.
Okay, so so yeah, you can think about this riff as basically two separate chords. It's the A major chord and the D major chord, and it's just walking down. And the way you're moving is 3, 5, 1, and then you kind of have this like this finger tuck motion, right? So
it's that flyover that it feels really common, I think, in arpeggios.
Yeah.
Like that. This reminds me of like an arpeggio chord hybrid.
Exactly.
This is really cool.
You're kind of galloping down.
And I think it's good. I mean, it's a good exercise for like keyboard familiarity and dexterity.
Mm-hmm.
It probably could be something that you do as part of your warm-up routine, actually.
Yeah, totally.
Can you do it with your left hand?
So left hand's a little more. I mean,
it doesn't work the same. You can invert it. Hey, that's cool.
So you can just mirror image it. So that, in that case, that was, well, still 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. So you're always using your finger 3 to land on your third interval of the chord.
Okay.
So 3, 5, 1, and you cross over, hit that 3, 5, 1. So there's a couple motions to kind of keep in mind. Your motion to go from your A to your D chord, there's sort of a big jump there. A to get to that F sharp note, which is your third of D, so. Right? And then to reset yourself, because that's the pattern, and now we're just doing the same thing, but down an octave. So your motion to get from, you know, it's a little third motion here, so it's just a little semitone. So this is like this is a minor third jump here, F sharp to A, and then we just have a little semitone.
I'm loving it.
Let's see what it sounds like in like D, or no, we'll play it in C here. So this is something, as with anything on the piano, you can do this in every key. And it's more about the relationship between the two keys that you choose. So I'm always working with my 1 chord and my 4 chord in this perspective.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm.
So I got bouncy.
Here is, yeah, so that's that.
That's that.
Now, if you want to do your left hand, like flesh this out into a way that seems really cool and kind of pro, and applicable, I guess, in a piano song or something, you can practice just following yourself down in your left hand. So that's a really useful thing, because you're building your awareness of like how far each note or how far each chord shape is from its...
Yeah, adding the 5th in on the left is a really, really good idea.
The 5ths here?
Yeah. It just feels like it connects the whole concept.
Yeah.
It makes it more applicable in like the flow of a song.
Yeah.
I would agree with that 100%. I love it. Okay, so we've had a request for showing how we would use fills when accompanying a singer on a chord chart.
Accompanying a singer.
So you're accompanying a singer, and you're playing, and it's a slow song, and maybe it's kind of boring, and the singer stops and takes a breath.
Yeah. And
instead of playing scales, what could the piano player do?
In between chords?
Yeah, so is there room for us both to kind of scooch in here?
Well,
I wonder if I could like get in your space like this. Is
Sure.
this okay, T? All right. Okay. So, do you know "Love Me Like You Do" by Ellie Goulding?
No.
Okay. So in a song like this, there's not much going on. G, A minor, F. It doesn't really go anywhere.
Okay.
So then I'm just trying to think what I would do. So love me like you do, love me like you do. I think broken chords are. See, I always go back to this move. That's my signature move, guys.
So that's yeah, you're kind of
A little sparkle.
So let's look at what that is really slowly. This little motion.
So we're trying to land on the F chord. We're using a sus chord as kind of our like transitional piece to get there. So instead of hitting the F chord straight, I'm gonna go to an F sus, and I'm gonna release this 2 fingers so that I can go to the 3. So now I have the F chord.
Right.
And when you do it quickly, it sounds really cool. And you can kind of reshape it however you want to make any sort of sound that you're after.
It's kind of like it's like a little hot cross bun.
Yeah, exactly. And then I mean, often when I'm kind of like in the spaces in between, like the singers, again, you're like saying taking a break is just inversions. And again, it's the notes I showed you earlier that can be used to fill up the space a little bit.
Right.
So it ends up I don't know the song, but so let me like this can't be the right key. I don't think this is the right key. Again, let's go to the safe notes maybe for a minute. That's ringing bells for me. So if I'm on A minor, I got 5 notes that are guaranteed to sound good almost all the time.
True.
It's like a crazy sales pitch. Almost all of the time. So if I'm gonna hang out here, you can play any combination of those 5 notes, and you're gonna sound awesome.
Yeah.
So what if we did this on something like, can you demonstrate it on Someone Like You by Adele? Or you remember that one? We were playing with that the other day.
Yeah, let's do something. Let's do
something different?
Well, Someone Like You has kind of got so much movement already. Let's do something like even like Stand By Me.
Stand By Me when the night. That one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great. Okay.
So, yeah. Okay.
Pulling it up. That's a great way to pull these into perspective.
Yeah. Okay. So Stand By Me. That's actually using the same progression that you were just looking at with the Ellie Goulding there.
Fabulous.
So.
Am I in your way now? So the left hand's doing what it does. It's kind of on autopilot mode.
So that's an example.
That's
it! There's your little hot cross buns, Phil, right?
Is that the new names for it?
Yeah, so think about it like this. Here's your oven, and you put your hot cross bun in the oven.
That's totally great.
Yeah. So also using fills, like there's two philosophies that you can do to make your fills and your runs. You can kind of look at them from a chord perspective, which is kind of like what we're talking about here with that hot cross bun thing. Hot cross bun and that 3-5-1, they're both looking at it from the perspective of a chord, because we're kind of basing our shape around the chord, right? It's kind of landing in this real like triad kind of like boom, that's a big solid thing. You can do that, and that always sounds really great, especially if you're working with a singer, I find, because you're not clashing with any like melody stuff.
You don't want to get too fancy when you're accompanying a singer, so that's the other thing to note. So here, why don't you play through it? I'm going to sing along. You guys pay attention to what Jordan does in terms of like little fill moments and how he places them. If we just do maybe like a verse chorus.
Okay.
This might not be my ideal key, but I'm sure.
Well, we can change it. This is easy.
Let's try it. Let's try it here. This is such a great song. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't shed a tear. Just as long as you stand by me. And then he can kind of take a solo moment.
Yeah.
So watch what he's doing. It's inversions where he's playing on those same sort of like sparkle fills.
Exactly. Same fingering.
Never fail.
Same fingering. So I find here, like your 1, your 2, and your 3 in your right hand, that is where you can add all this like kind of texture-y, you can kind of like mix colors together or something like that. You can make like, it's like making like, it's like how, what is it, like red and blue make purple? You can kind of go.
Mixing them up. Yep.
Yeah, so even though this chord shape is different, feels a little different. It's all about landing on that one, right? So if I'm just in my basic C major root position, you know, ha, crossbones, there we go. And here, we're still landing on a harmony of a C major chord. We're still landing on the third. And so it's almost like, you know, we were talking earlier this morning, Lisa and I, about call and response and like melodies and chords. So you can kind of do a little call and response thing with these two like harmony styles of filling. So you can go,
Yeah.
you know? So that might be a good exercise for you to do with your triads. Just, your thumb is always anchoring down on one of the three notes in your triad. Right? C,
Exactly.
E, and G.
So, okay, let's pull this down. Can you do this in A?
Yeah.
Let's pull this down to A, and then let's look at what you're doing in between. In between the verse and the chorus. Let's look at what's happening there.
Okay.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't shed a tear. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand, won't you stand by me.
Right?
Again, it's those simple little, I guess you can think of them,
Yeah.
thirds. Third
Yeah.
twinkles, sus twinkles.
You can even just practice that with every chord in this progression. And you're gonna sound really good.
Okay, so as you go, Luke is suggesting what happens if you pop up an octave to add the fills.
Right, so kind of up here.
Yeah, so from singing here, so this is where you're gonna hear, in the case of a singer, you wanna be careful because going up the octave might compete a little bit. Because you hear the loudest, or you'll hear
Yeah,
the highest pitch.
yeah, right.
So you'll wanna make sure that you're sticking with those on the in-betweens, not as you're playing for the singer.
Yeah, I find if you're gonna go up into the higher octave range, doing something that's a little bit less percussive is always a good way to go. Like this is a very percussive style of fill, right? It's kind of this, there's a lot of rhythm there, but maybe if I wanted to go up there and still do kind of like hint at what I'm doing, but I'm in the higher region, I would go like, you know, I don't know.
I love it. What if we pulled out Lean on Me and we pulled a focus of like a gospel fill for it?
Gospel fill?
So we're gonna go Lean on Me. We have a request for that one. Do you remember Lean on Me?
Yeah, same progression, isn't it?
Sometimes in our lives we all, I think so. Sometimes in our... Pull it up. Oh, there you go. I think it goes,
Does it
you're
go
going
to-
up, it goes to the major there.
Does it go to 4?
Yes. Yes, it goes 1, 4, 1 minor.
Oh yeah, right.
We know that
Oh yeah, there it is.
always tomorrow.
Oh,
I was ahead of you. Okay, let's start over. Okay, so
Two.
we're gonna find a way to gospel this up a little bit.
Okay.
Jordan, you can do it.
Yeah.
I just love it when you're
Put on the spot.
put on the spot.
Hold on. Let me get my pedal. Okay.
So kind of starting basic. Oh, you're just jumping right in. I was gonna keep. Oh, how'd you do that? That was a little fill moment. That was very gospel.
Up the thirds.
So the left hand's going up the thirds.
So left hand's going, yeah, it's walking up to the 4 chord. So here we are in the key of A.
Okay.
That's good for you?
Yep.
So here's the bass. Real simple stuff. That's just walking up the...
It's basically the melody, which is very rare in a bass line.
Right. But the right hand, if you want to make this sound cool and you want to fill things up, rather than, you know, starting on just like taking the exact same notes, walk up with the thirds. So start on...
This is A.
Yeah, this is A.
This is C sharp.
C sharp. So you're basically, yeah, you're still working in the key of A. You're just kind of orienting yourself from
A different spot.
Yeah. So, and then they always have that like, right?
Yes.
And now does it go to the minor one here?
You were a little early on the minor. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have minor sorrow. Yeah. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong.
Yeah.
I'll be your friend. Oh, that's low. I'll help you carry on. So what are the gospel-y moments in there?
Well, this is, to me, this is pretty gospel.
The third walk up?
Third walk up, even just using, I find the third and the sixth always sound really good
Okay.
with for adding your chord fills, because you know,
So you're using the little sparkle trick from earlier. You're just fancying it up.
yeah, you're working with your third note, your fifth, and your sixth. Those are always good notes to use to kind of like pop yourself back up and then land back down.
And if you need to find those are the first melody lines of Stand By Me When the Night.
Yeah.
It's but yeah, those guys.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That would help me identify it, because I have to, I don't know, I'm crazy. I have to hear it
Yeah.
in a song, then I can find it on the piano.
Totally. Well, yeah.
That would sound gospel-y for me.
This year.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah.
See again, I can hear it.
Yeah. So that here is just, that's like a little moment that kind of crests that walk up, right? So it's going from G to F sharp.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, if you take every chord that you know, your major and your minor chords, work them in all their inversions.
You can play fills.
You can play fills because work
Honestly.
them all, like hot cross bunsify all your inversions. So, and then go up here.
That is the trick, isn't it?
Yeah, this one's a little bit weird.
It just feels weird. Well, I would probably change my placement for it.
You can totally change your placement for it and land back on the root. But if
Yeah.
you work also finding ways to land on the different notes in your triad,
Jordan's way.
that's going to give you all these different options to make, just to kind of give your you know, fills a little bit of like variety. Here, I'll show it in C because C is really simple. So here's the three notes that we're going to be working for in this little exercise. We're going to be working with our 1, our 3, our 5, but then also we're going to work with the secret other note, which is the 6th. Okay, so C, E, G, and A.
Okay.
And the first iteration of this little hot cross buns, we can consider our C and our G are like oven and hot cross buns, okay?
I love how we're so connected to our food.
Chuck it in the oven. I was actually talking with my dad this weekend about we want to make a pizza oven in our yard. We had this ambition to do it, but it just didn't happen like a few years ago. So maybe it'll happen now that I'm thinking about this again. So hot cross buns. So there we go. And now we're going to move up to our next inversion. So this is C in first inversion, and we're going to still use our 1, our 2, and our 3. Those are our notes that make the bun. But now we're working with you kind of got a new shape to work with. We got E, G, and A. So hot cross buns. Now we go up, and now we go. So we go A to C to G, and then up to back to our D. So, and you can do that in all your keys.
See, we even have to think about it.
Yeah, but it's something that you can use in all your keys, and then you all of a sudden get really, really familiar with how fills work and sound, and
then you don't even think about them, and when you have to explain them, it gets confusing again, because it really does become second nature, and you'll find that you'll develop your own sort of flavor in terms of what you do. But yeah, it can feel like a really sort of like wide open world. Oh my gosh, what do I do to fill in the space?
Yeah.
But really, it's not super complex. Arpeggios are another thing you can kind of do, and I don't think of them in terms of like, you know, a big arpeggio.
Yeah.
That's okay, it's kind of cool. But you might slowly. Right? See how I didn't play them in order? I just.
Yeah.
Those little short bursts of parts of the scale. So you might those 3 notes, or maybe you're gonna play the last little half of the G scale.
Yeah.
Those work really well as fifths too, or as fills too.
Yes.
Luke is agreeing about the pizza oven in the yard.
Oh man, it's not that hard. All you need is cinder blocks and like this kind of clay adobe sort of thing. It's not that hard, man. And think about it, like. Wood fire pizza or like stone fire, whatever.
That's expensive.
It's expensive, but it's not that hard to make.
Well, you just need a fire.
It really requires the oven, and the oven isn't that hard to make.
There's parks in Vancouver that have like outdoor brick ovens. You just start fires in it and make stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to drive to Vancouver to make my wood fire pizza.
You could though.
I have it in my own. Actually, I'm trying to think if I can put it in my apartment on my balcony.
No, you could not. I don't think so. That might be an issue with the
It's a concrete building.
Yeah, well, just let me know how that goes. Okay, so we've got your 351. That's a riff.
351.
We've got My Sparkle, which Jordan has renamed Hot Cross Buns.
The hot cross bun.
And then we've got, you know, short little bursts of scales, pick a few notes. We've got arpeggios, you can reorder them however you like. With the left hand, my favorite is still just the walk down. If you're moving it in between chords that are in thirds.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds nice. Yeah, you're always walking down to your thirds.
Does that sound nice, Jordan? Did you like that?
I did.
Show how that works in a song.
Well, we had that in Sure. I mean, it's the Lean on Me.
It does it a lot.
Lean on Me had that.
But we weren't focused on it. Well, that's entirely different. You're being a bass player with your left hand right now.
You're still walking down, Lisa.
Okay, fine. It's just more complicated.
Well, whatever. You don't need to do a bass player. You don't even worry about that lick.
Thank you. That's what I was going.
And then we're
That's what I was
down.
asking for, Jordan.
There you go.
Good grief.
This is just for you, Lisa.
Thank you. Some of us need to simplify before we can complicate. So you kind of used the 3-5-1 riff in there. I think I saw you sneak it in.
3-5-1 riff?
Yeah. You had a moment where you had a chunk of it in there.
There it is.
Well, there it is. Simon's been waiting for this. Simon, so glad. I feel like we could teach a lesson on fills and riffs every single week, honestly. There's so much. For me, it really clicked once I figured out kind of, again, this, which started with just using sus chords on the in-betweens. But figuring that out is what kind of set me up for success when it came to adding little fills. And I found that really helpful.
Yeah.
Another little trick you could maybe try, especially if you get to play in a band setting, is try playing without your left hand. So when you have to focus on two hands, it can get complicated if you're trying to explore new riffs and fills.
A whole other hand.
Aha, two hands.
Who needs it?
So give this a rest, let the other instruments take care of that, and just see what you can do. Because I know I got stuck in a rut with just playing chords all the time. So I'd follow the chart and I'd play, okay, E chord, okay, C sharp minor. But what if you just changed the rules for yourself a little bit and made a rule that you can't play solid chords, you have to just focus on little fills and licks that sound really cool.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a great idea. I like it.
I had a great idea.
You have a lot of great ideas.
I do.
You do.
The walking bass would be super cool, Luke.
The walking bass, yeah.
It was almost a riff, okay?
This?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I think of when I hear, is that Stand By Me or Lean On Me? That's Lean On Me.
No,
that's Stand By Me. Oh, why do I always get them, I got them mixed up all the time.
They're very close. You have to remember that Lean On Me is the doot, 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 doot.
Oh, yeah.
And I hear it with the octaves in the bass.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like how I can memorize that better in my own head. Because to me, it's like this feels like it's not leaning. It feels like it's going up.
The song is not titled so that you can understand the.
This feels like you lean down.
They don't name songs so you know what direction to play on the piano.
They always do. Even if they don't know, there's always a way to connect it. Always. Always.
Okay, well, let's see how you're going to connect this one.
I can teach you guys another riff.
Okay, fine.
Well, I've got to figure that out. I got to go to the drawing board to figure out how Lean On Me and Stand By Me can be distinguished. Okay, so let's think about, here's another riff that I want to teach you guys before we wrap it up. Because this is kind of like the 3-5-1 thing. It's something just fun to do with the piano, and it sounds really cool. And when I figured out how to do this, I was like, you know what, Mom, Dad, I'm done with piano lessons because I figured this out. I don't need them anymore.
Oh, that's nice.
But you guys should still sign up to Pianote if you haven't already.
Why? Because we are not your traditional piano lessons. True story.
I think I'm pretty traditional with all this stuff.
Okay, we are not. Piano isn't a traditional.
This is super traditional.
What? It's not like you have like a piano teacher that makes you learn how to read every single note. We're definitely outside the box in our programming.
Not me.
Oh my gosh, he's just being a joker now. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I'm not sure what about you, Jordan.
I know. So this is a really cool riff. It's sort of building on, again, the minor 1 or it's building on the 1 and the 4 relationship. That's always a great way to flow down the piano or flow up. Whenever you are working with like the 1 chord and the 4 chord, they have so many kind of common
They're
sounds.
so close.
They're so close together that you can kind of if you're looking for somewhere to go, likely going up a 4th is, yeah, it's a shape shifting. Okay, so thank you. So here is what I'm playing here. I'm playing 2 sets of minor thirds. I'm playing a minor third in F, so F, G, and A flat. Beautiful. And now I'm playing C, D, and E flat. That's, oh man, what's that sound like? It's on the tip of my tongue. Okay, but...
What's happening?
There you go. So you're always leading with finger 2. Again.
So you have to pick the landmark notes in your mind or this one doesn't work.
Yeah, you gotta kind of think of your, okay, you know what you should think of this as?
I think D and G, but...
D and G?
G and D.
Sure, you're always landing on G and D, but here's a mentality that might help you. Think of your finger as like, you know those herons, those like fishing birds?
Oh my goodness.
Your heron it's kind of like a bird beak, just plunging into the key. And it takes it flutters every time it flutters, it goes. So it kind of ruffles its feathers as it dips into the water.
You have a very active imagination, Jordan. Did you have trouble focusing in school?
I have trouble focusing now. So that's a riff that you can practice as well. We actually have a specific lesson on it on our
People are commenting
site.
how this is a song. Like, it sounds really familiar.
I know, me too. This one. Just trying to think. It's Live and Let Die. Thank you. It is Live and Let Die. You're right. You're absolutely right. Thank you. I was going to be a tense morning trying to figure that one out. Yeah, we'll teach it.
You guys are saving the day.
Yeah.
Who does Live and Let Die?
Paul McCartney. That's a James Bond.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
I thought you
know.
liked James Bond. You always talk about, oh, you know what?
I love that
James
chord.
Bond.
I like the. Leave me alone.
It's okay. I like James Bond too, and I didn't know that one. I knew it was something.
It sounds like Close Encounters. Yeah. It's got like it had a creepy vibe to it.
This year? Oh, this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to always just do, like, I'd kind of go like this.
Michael Caine says you're welcome for saving your day.
Thank you, Michael. Michael Caine did that?
Yeah. Wings. Wings? Is that Paul McCartney's band?
Oh, Wings. Yeah, right. Pardon me.
See, I knew that. I knew Wings was his band, so I'm not totally daft.
I thought of chicken wings when you said wings. I'm hungry.
Guns N' Roses did it as well.
Really?
Yeah, we have an expert here.
Sweet.
Thank you, Michael. Luke thanks you also. Now we're getting some Spanish vibes. So that was quite a little toe dip into the waters of fills and riffs.
There is so many fills and riffs yet to come.
So okay, here's your guys' homework. Here's our call to action for you. Go through your repertoire, play your songs, and take a look, try to isolate in a specific song in a specific moment where you'd like to utilize one of these fills or riffs. If you're a Pianote member, you can post a little clip of yourself doing that in our forum, or you can be in touch with Jordan and myself directly, and we can give you some little bits of feedback.
You can email me, jordan@pianote.com, or you can email Lisa.
Lisa
at jordan@pianote.com.
What? If there's, if you feel like you guys want to dive more deeply into this, just let us know, because we can do more. We can do a series of these for you.
We'll do more. We'll do more riffs and fills. There's all sorts of cool ones that you can do. Here's another one maybe we'll teach someday.
That's pretty cool. I was thinking we should do one where it's focusing on like improv style riffs and fills.
Yeah.
We'll separate a bit, and then I'll do one on accompanying yourself or a singer fills and riffs. So we'll dive in again, guys.
Yeah, we'll do a blues fills one too.
Okay. Because who doesn't love some blues? Maybe we should just do the rest of like a whole month of fills and riffs. No, sorry, we won't. We've got sight reading for you next week. We're rounding it out.
That's going to be a blast.
I think we're doing a little night music, actually.
A little night music?
Eine kleine Nachtmusik.
We're also going to do some lessons on building cinematic sounds with a keyboard soon.
Yes, specifically with a keyboard, because there's just so much more once you have all those options. So basically, guys, we have so much going on. So subscribe to our YouTube channel for notifications so you don't miss out. For all the extras and, because we often have sheet music resources for these live lessons. If you want to be able to go back and view them after the fact, you can only do that if you're a Pianote member. So come hang out with us there. And again, Pianote members, talk to us. Let us know what you want. We're here for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I believe that's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
That's a wrap, guys. We're going to go eat.
Yeah.
Okay, pizza time.
Oh, nice.
It's only 10:30 in the morning here.
We're going to find a way to do it. All right. Take care, guys. Thanks so much for joining.